so good morning and welcome back to my magical world. It's me, Frostbite, your favorite celebrity here in the Philippines. Good morning, Tara! Yan, nakapag-film tayo ng umaga. You know, new life, new routine. Just kidding, guys. I can't sleep properly, actually. I don't know why. I woke up so early, like maybe 4, 5, something like that. And I can't sleep. No, actually, it's an interrupted sleep, like 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. And for that reason, I have to wake up early because I just can't sleep properly, so might as well wake yourself up. So it's 7:12 in the morning, and yeah, I already had my coffee. Aga no. Hindi ako sanay, guys. Like, I don't know. We're reading pages 153, 154 of the book Mastery. Siyempre, continue lang natin ang mga ating unfinished business. Okay? Listen up. So, in 1986, so, wala pa tayo nito. Hindi pa tayo nito buhay. If you're young like me, like myself, in 1986, still uncertain of her direction in life, she entered Florida International University in Miami. Following her high school inclinations, she took up a sculpture class, but working in a clay with its softness and ease of manipulation gave her the same feeling she'd had in high school of making things that were merely artificial and pretty. So, sobrang deceptive nito, no? Yung artificial, but yet the product is like, it's so good, it's so beautiful, diba? But it's so practical nowadays, so, it's your choice, guys. Then one day, spending time in the sculpture building, she noticed some artists working in metal crafting large-scale pieces. Actually, gusto ko rin yun ma-experience, yung clay, doing clay pots. Tama ba? Doing pots out of clay or out of mud. Tama ba? Basta, you know what I'm saying, okay? So these sheets of steel had a visceral effect upon her, unlike any other artwork she had seen, and she felt in some way that this was the material that had been meant for her all along. It was gray and heavy and resistant, requiring great effort to shape it. The properties of steel corresponded to the sense of resiliency and power that she had always felt inside herself. Despite her petite size, and that she had always wanted to express. And so she began to apply herself feverishly to her new found medium. To work in metal requiring firing up the foundry and using acetylene torches. The tropical heat of Miami could make such labor intensely uncomfortable during the daytime hours, so she began to work on her sculptures exclusively at night. So taray, I like working during nights if it's peaceful. This led to an unusual schedule starting at 9, working until 2 or 3 in the morning, and then sleeping through a good part of the next day. Besides the cooler air, working at night had other advantages. With few people around, the studio was quite peaceful and conducive to serious work. She could focus deeply. Yun ang sinasabi ko sa inyo. More peace, more focus, more efficiency. 'Di ba? Yung work ko ngayon, guys, my God. If you are not attentive, you will not. You can't make it. Like, it's so much, guys. Like, I never thought that there's, you're using your entire mind, body, and soul when you're doing my work. Is so, I don't know, just not focus about it. So she could experiment with her pieces. She could experiment with her pieces, making mistakes that no one would see. She could be fearless and take chances. So this is good. Like there's trial and error. In life we do that, but I hope all my viewers, all my audiences and subscribers are doing, calculated risk. Sometimes you really need to act like a man, diba? Be assertive and just get it. Just, make sure to get everything that you want with violence or not. I'm just kidding, guys. We're not into that. We're not into that. I don't like that. I'm just kidding, guys, okay? So, slowly Fernandez began to take command of the medium and in making her sculptures. She felt like she was forging and transforming herself. She was interested in creating pieces that were large and impressive, but to make such work, she had to devise her own method. She would design the pieces on paper, but would work on them in smaller sections, and she could manage herself. Your kids, if you're a parent, your kids should watch me. See? Because I basically read for your kids, and you don't have time for that. So, make sure to supervise your kids' phones at all times, diba? With all our worldly demands with work, business, and all of other things, diba? Make sure you have time. You have time. Time is the most valuable thing. Time is currency. Then in the quiet of her studio, she would assemble the sculptures. Soon her pieces began to be displayed within the department and on campus. Almost everyone was quite impressed by her work. Standing in the bright Miami sunshine, her enormous steel sculptures conveyed that sense of power she had always felt within her. But there was another response to her pieces that surprised her. Because few people had seen her at work, it appeared that these sculptures flowed out of her effortlessly, as if she had some unusual gift. This drew attention to her personality. Sculpture was a largely male domain that tended to attract the most macho male artists. As she was one of the few female artists working in heavy steel, people naturally projected onto her all kinds of preconceptions and fantasies. When a woman do such things, di ba? She gets more um, projections from insecure people or envy. If it's the woman that can do actually a good work, diba? Okay, so as she was one of the few female artists, ay ito na, naulit ko. Kumalma lang kasi kayo, guys. The discrepancy between her slight feminine appearance and her large-scale imposing works was quite glaring, and people would wonder how she managed to make such work and who she really was. Intrigued by her character and also by the way of her beautifully crafted sculpture seemed to appear out of nowhere. They saw her as alluringly mysterious, a mix of hard and soft qualities, an anomaly, a magician with metal. So adorable naman to. Si ano siya, no? Si Teresita Fernandez. Aray. So with all of the scrutiny, Fernandez suddenly became aware that she was no longer a voyeur, tama ba? Ano na nga guys, wala na kayo ng pronunciation. So, watching others from a distance but was at the center of attention. The art world felt right to her. For the first time in her life, she had a sensation of fitting in. And she wanted to hold on to this interest that others had in her work. Now that she was thrust into a more public position, it would be natural for her to want to talk about herself and her experiences, but she intuited that it would be a mistake to deflate the powerful effect her work had on others by suddenly revealing everyone how many hours she had applied herself to these sculptures and how they were really the product of intense labor. Diba? Others, parang when others really kind of like put negative, feedbacks on something that is so great, diba? They kind of like make up a lot of stories that are not true. So everything that is the product, a good product is really out of intense labor and discipline most of the time. Most of the time. Especially, itong product na to, hindi to yung nowadays, like modern product, right? It's way back 1922. Yung kanina sinabi ko sa'yo, 1986, naman tayo. Siyempre, sharp yung memory natin, o diba? 1986 nga. So, ayan. Nakwento ko na ba sa inyo yung gawa ko, like, nasama siya sa exhibit before grade 4 ako. Tapos, nung sinabi nila na ako yung may gawa, my classmates don't believe it. So, it's so annoying. Like, I don't know, it's an artwork where you have to design a lot of regions here in the Philippines, and I kind of like, I make things on art. Hindi lang halata, but I actually put a lot of work on that, like midnight work. So, yeah. So, let's go back here. Basta, but I felt so good when it was there. When it was exhibited, it was, parang inikot yung iba't ibang rooms and they kind of like show it. So, it's an amazing feeling. Other than that, siguro yung pagkapanalo ko sa marathon, like it's actually a really good feeling. So sometimes, she reasoned what you do not reveal to people is all the more eloquent and powerful. She decided to go along with the image that others had of her and her work. She would create an air of mystery around her, making sure not to talk about her process, keeping details of her life hidden and allowing people to project onto her their own fantasies. This is so good, right? When you actually are the mysterious type. Like you don't reveal your secrets, guys. but me, I'm giving you XYZ tips, like really juicy tips. So it's for you guys. It's for your, it's for you to recognize how to implement it in your own life. Dami ko ng tips sa inyo. You just have to absorb it. As she progressed in her career, however, something about the persona she had created in her university years ago no longer felt appropriate. She noted an element in her public personality that could play against her. If she were not careful, people would judge her based on her physical appearance as an attractive young woman. Itong medyo delicate talaga eh. Like sometimes, you really don't know how to, some people just don't know how to recognize which is which. Ang hirap maging maganda, like sobrang maganda tas magaling ka pa. Like people will make such of criticisms out of envy and all of that just to pull you down. But when you know in yourself that you're actually really good at something, diba? Catriona Gray. So, Pio words back, mga ganong type. So, ang hirap tapatan. So, ang gagawin ng iba is they will kind of like drag them into the mud. Diba? Like, my gosh, what is wrong with you people? Sometimes, I really ask, what kind of environment were you raised in for you to do that? Minsan mapapatanong ka na talagang, kaya be really careful with collaborating with people. They would not see her as a serious artist. Her elusiveness might seem like a cover for a lack of intelligence, as if she were merely feeling her way through feeling her way through things and not on a par with the heavy hitting intellectuals in the field. It was a prejudice female artist had to deal with. Any hint of being wishy washy or inarticulate when it came to talking about her work carried the danger of feeding the preconception that she was frivolous, merely dabbling in the arts, and so she slowly developed a new style that suited her well. She would be assertive and speak with authority about the content of her work while still enveloping her work process in mystery. This is what you should do, guys. You really should be authoritative. Tama ba? Tayo yung nabubulol ng kaunti. Yung mga nagsasalita kasi sa labas, mga distractions. She was not weak or vulnerable, but in clear command of the subject. If male artists needed to seem serious, articulate as a woman, she would have to appear even more so. So, hirap ng ano, no? Like, when you're already good, but still you are still constantly proving yourself to be very, very good in your craft. Kasi, you know, a man's ego, hirap nila pasabugin. Maraming ano, guys, maraming inaiinggit. Like, you know, kapag hindi mo matapatan yung certain things. Tsaka maraming inggitin na lalaki, guys. If you don't know, maraming mas naiinggit na lalaki compared sa babae. Sa babae kasi is very vocal. But the danger is when it's a man that is envy of you, your life, your craft, your work, your talents. Yun yung mahirap. They always think, oh, I'm the man, I'm the macho. But, wala eh. Remember, action speaks louder than anything else in this world. Your actions should speak for itself. Your work will speak for yourself. No matter what they say, diba? The results is everything that matters, actually. It's a hard, you know, it's not easy to accept. But at the end of the day, it's the results. So her assertive tone was always dignified and respectful, but she made it clear she was no lightweight. So she is of substance. Hindi siya lightweight, guys. She speaks, you know, volume. So over the years, as Teresita Fernandez became a world-renowned conceptual artist working in all types of materials, she continued to play with her appearance and make it fit her changing circumstances. The stereotype for artists is that they are disorganized and only interested in what is happening in the art world. She would play against these expectations. She transformed herself into an eloquent lecturer, exposing her work and ideas to the public at large. So audiences would ponder and be intrigued by the discrepancy between her pleasant, composed surface and the complex, challenging content of her discourse. Okay, hiningal ako, guys. We're done. Haba nun. I still have things to do. So, thank you for having me on your morning routine. On your daily routine, guys. So, thank you for helping me make this world a better place for all of us and for the future generation. Let's have a wonderful day today. So, I always pray for your safety. Siyempre, lalo kung wala sa inyong nag-aalaga. Let me take care of you. See you again tomorrow.